The mayor has put forward Sharon Lloyd's name as to fill the realtor position on the Housing Board of Adjustments and Appeals. And that was placed, or suggested to be placed on the agenda for the last council meeting and was pulled off and then scheduled for discussion today.
Okay. Questions, council?
Yes. I want to thank everyone. I made some maybe in the audience. I received emails and I was concerned. I was surprised, really. I was receiving all these emails from persons. I believe some of them, majority lived in the Camden neighborhood. And I soon found out why, because I had something left in my mailbox. And it was an email sent from Debbie, encouraging, and I'd like to read some of it.
Are you talking about Councilwoman Debbie Campbell?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Campbell. And it says, recently the mayor sent the former chair of the Housing Board of Adjustment Appeals a letter thanking him for his service and notifying him that he will not be reappointed. The candidate being advanced by the mayor to fill the vacancy is Mrs. Sharon Lloyd. The city code requires that this vacancy be filled by a landlord or a realtor. Mrs. Lloyd is a realtor, and in an unprecedented move, Louise Smith removed confirmation of the appointment from last Monday night's legislative agenda. Discussion of the matter is scheduled during the work session to be held this Thursday at 1:30 at the government office building. A meeting that was scheduled for a date when they knew I could not attend. I will be on travel for work. Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Shields constantly tell me and Councilwoman Cohen that they do not hear from the constituents. I am asking you that you take the time from your busy schedule to either send an email to Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Shields, phone them, or if at all possible, attend the Thursday session in person. And down included was our home phone number and our email address. This board decides whether or not to uphold decisions made by the Neighborhood Service and Code Compliance. For many years, the chair of the board has been a landlord, and even at one time, the president of the rental lobby group, Hbaa. It is also a simple statement of fact to mention that there were quite a few Hbaa members in attendance at Monday's meeting, where Councilman Cohen and I tried to get the appointment back on the agenda so that there would not be a vacancy on the board. I am attaching Mrs. Lloyd's resume for your review. If you want a different perspective brought to the board and think that Mrs. Lloyd's is suitable candidate, please weigh in with the council on this matter. In addition, her professional qualifications, Mrs. Lloyd has been a resident of the city for 25 years, something that many of you have told me is important to you in selecting those serving on city boards and commissions. If you wish to distribute this information to others, please do so by writing your own cover to the resume rather than forwarding this communication, since it is intended for the individuals who have expressed interest and or concern regarding this matter in the past. Thank you for your time and considerations, and thank you for those who attended Monday's meeting. Now first, that was a concern I had, because it's lobbying for someone, which I think that we should remain neutral. I'm concerned that you have a volunteer board and a person, and I'm glad the mayor's
Hold
here.
up, Councilwoman Shields. If there continues to be laughter, chuckling in the audience, I'm going to ask those people to be removed. And I hope I make that clear.
And it's not that who is serving the board. If John Doe was serving the board and he chose to continue to be a volunteer, because all these boards, commissions, and committees are due through volunteerism. And if someone has served and volunteered, regardless if it's a landlord, realtor, tenant, or whatever the requirements call in the charter, and he wishes to continue, I don't see why he couldn't continue. That's my opinion. If the mayor chooses to select someone else, I would like to see someone who can be impartial, someone who can be fair, and someone who can be objective. And I also like to see someone, if they're going to be appointed, from a different neighborhood. It seems that there's already one member from the Camden area, and it should be someone from another neighborhood. And if the person has displayed from previous comments at council meetings, I don't think the person is objective or would be fair to especially landlords. Or and when you affect the landlord, it affects the tenant, which I'm a tenant now. I've even had someone email me asking me to recuse myself from this discussion because my landlord refused his property to be inspected. Well, I called my landlord and I asked him that. But that's between the landlord, and he said he has never refused an inspection, which would be easy to find out if he has. But to me, that's between the neighborhood code enforcement office and the city and my landlord, not me. My decisions are not made on Sequoia members or landlords, because if Councilwoman Campbell remembers, she wouldn't be in the position she was in today if it wasn't for the Salisbury Neighborhood Action Committee, which was made up of landlords, neighborhood presidents, the police department, the 2 council members, and at that time I think everything fell under Public Works, where the building code enforcement, I think Mr. Holland served on it for years, and then we recommended her to be the first executive director of Salisbury Neighborhood Housing Service. So I think all of us have a commitment in wanting to see, at the same time, similar to what Crime Task Force is doing, we were addressing problem properties back in the early 90s of the crime, the deterioration. So all along, tenants and people working together in general trying to improve the living conditions of neighborhoods. So I think that, as again I say, if a person cannot be fair, cannot be objective, and have certain prejudices against people, I think they will not qualify for a board member. That is why I cannot support this particular board appointment.
Okay, thank you. Terry?
Well, as far as the email is concerned, I'm not really sure of the relevance of, I mean, it's not really lobbying for a council member to communicate with constituents, especially after constituents were saying, why was this removed from the agenda? And we still didn't have an answer. We asked for, you know, whenever I ask for something to be removed from the agenda, I'm always very forthcoming in what my rationale is. I don't know about all the history with Salisbury Neighborhood Action Committee putting Mrs. Campbell where she is today. The fact of the matter is Mrs. Campbell is a very competent individual who's been invited to a very prestigious program at Harvard, so whether or not it was that particular action that got her where she is today or some other action, I don't know. I think those kind of personal comments are rather not relative to the discussion here at hand. So I would just ask Mrs. Fields, are the statements that you've made thus far the reason that you wanted this off the agenda, the legislative agenda?
I just wanted to know the process in appointment. If someone wishes to continue on a board, and literally, it's like you fired a person. You know, I don't know the process, but if that's the way it's happened before, I have no problem with the mayor's procedure, but I have a problem with the choice.